everybody to Minecraft.
It's simply Craig on the
Welcome to the hangout. To the hangout. Welcome to the hangout. To the hangout. Welcome to the hangout. To the hangout. Welcome to the hangout.
Yowie wowie, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, you got that tingle in your spine. You got them goosebumps. You got to slap your forearm like The Rock. You know what I'm saying? Because them boys are back in town. You hear me?
We're back.
Yes, I was slapping my forearm. We back, baby. We got a titillating piece of cinema to talk
Yes.
about today. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's your boy X the Unannounced, and I'm here with my boy.
Price, the Price. Yes, man. And boy, what he is not lying. This one here might be a little divisive. So
Titillating, you know what I'm saying? Please, so buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. We're going on for a ride today, you know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
You know what? I feel like we shouldn't waste these people's time, Price, You know us, we know you. It's good to hear us, and it's good to hear back from you, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, man. No, definitely won't waste their time. There are people that are here that are probably clicked on that thumbnail because they know exactly what Minecraft is. And there's other people who they have no idea what that is, and they are a little curious. And then some of them be just like, I ain't got nothing better to do.
My who? Oh, my kids just keep asking about Minecraft and
Right.
Roblox money. So
Right.
I just, you know what I'm saying? That's all I know.
Yeah, yep.
So we here to try that bridge that gap and help you out the best way we can.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Price, I think you should go ahead and tell them a little bit about what this movie's about.
Okay. All right. Now this right here, I will definitely be helping you, all you parents out there and people who just, might have small kids or something and just like, man, you know what? I'm going to take them to it and go, check this out with them. You have to know a little bit of something. All right. And we're going to pivot back to that statement there, having to know what's going on. But
Yep,
the
absolutely.
overview. Yes, absolutely. The overview, it states that, welcome to the world of Minecraft, where creativity doesn't just help you craft, it's essential to one's survival. 4 misfits, Garrett, the garbage man Garrison, Henry, Natalie, and Dawn, find themselves struggling with ordinary problems when they are suddenly pulled into a mysterious portal into the overworld. A bizarre, cubic, and when they say cubic, they mean cubic, wonderland that thrives on imagination. To get back home, they have to master this world and protect it from evil things like piglins and zombies too, while embarking on a magical quest with an unexpected expert crafter, Steve. Together, their adventure will challenge all 5 to be bold and to reconnect with the qualities that make each of them uniquely creative, the very skills that they need to thrive back in the real world. Wow.
Ooh-wee. Bar for bar,
I
word
mean,
for word, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. One of the most descriptive overviews I feel like we have read when it comes to seeing that movie and describing what's going on. Absolutely. Good job.
Because maybe they feel exactly the way you feel, Price. We just kind of need to make sure we come clean about this, A lot of overviews we read are like 1 or 2 sentences.
Yeah.
Maybe they pull from some that ain't really got nothing to do with the movie, but
Yeah.
they for Minecraft, they figured, hey, let's go ahead and hit it on the head right here. Let's give them what they asked for.
Oh yeah. You know what? The thing about it is that I feel that this was written by a human being. This was crafted. See what I did there? This was crafted by a human being, okay? Not Chat GPT. You know what I'm saying?
See what you did there.
Because
okay,
this is very descriptive.
A lot of crafting jokes, guys.
Oh yes.
I feel like we might as well go ahead and roll that trailer, that bean footage.
Oh, absolutely. If you don't mind there, good sir.
Yes, let me go ahead and craft up. I'm trying to, guys. Let me go ahead and craft on up, a nice little bean footage for y'all.
Straight from the mine.
Straight from the mine, baby. Here is a Minecraft movie official trailer.
I am Steve. As a child, I yearned for the mines, but something always got in the way.
Go on! Get out of here!
But the call of the mines was too strong. So one day, I started digging and digging until I found this. A wonderland where anything you can imagine is possible. As long as what you imagine can be built out of blocks. Got a boy?
Where are we?
Wait, who are you again?
Garrett the Garbage Man Garrison. Gamer of the Year 1989. Whatever. I barely think about it.
Welcome to the overworld. Anything you can dream about here, you can make.
This place makes no sense.
Don't I know it?
There are dark forces who want to destroy this world. If we want to stop them, we're gonna need to create something amazing. Let's go to the stash.
This is our decision. Nothing we can do. We've got the vision. Now let's have some fun. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What's this junk?
An ender pearl. Teleports you to wherever you throw it.
Yeah, right.
And that was the only one I had. No biggie.
We were fated to pretend.
Oh yeah, there's one more thing you need to know.
Great. Now it's dark. Did that feel quick to anyone else?
Wow. I will say there wasn't a bunch of things that I'm like, oh man, I didn't see that in the movie. I didn't see this in the movie, you know. So pretty good for as far as trailer to movie, you know. That was pretty good. You know, a lot of times we see things in the trailer, man, and we like, I don't even recall that happening. Like it didn't make it into the movie, but no, I think everything we just saw in the trailer was definitely in the movie. So not bad.
Yeah, they didn't have nothing. They didn't really. They let us know. They let it be known. They said, "Hey, this is what we got. This is what we got going on." You know, but you know, dropping April 4th, 2025. You know, let's tell them a little bit about, you know, who had their hands in this film. You feel me? You know, it was directed by Jared Hess. If you don't know who that is, you know. Think of a certain Latin wrestler named Nacho Libre.
And something else too now. Something else.
Think of a one Napoleon. Dynamite.
Don't forget to vote for Pedro.
Yeah. You know, we got to touch on a couple characters, you know what I'm saying? And we got to start off with the man himself.
Mr. Aqua.
Jack Black.
you gonna start off with okay.
It's a Minecraft, so we gotta talk about Steve. Steve is the man. You know, Steve is the man of Minecraft. So we gotta go ahead. Pay respect to Jack Black, you know what I'm saying?
No doubt. Listen, man, let me chime in real quick. I am a Jack Black fan. You feel what I'm saying? So for me, going in, and here's my confession. These are my confessions. Listen, I have no idea about Minecraft when it comes to playing the game, and I am a gamer. And anybody knows me, I am absolutely a gamer. However, I wasn't up on Minecraft, and I'm gonna be completely honest. And all you Minecraft people, don't come for me. You understand? Do not come for me. All right, here's a choice. Graphically wise, it wasn't my thing. I felt like I would kind of be going backwards. Yes, absolutely.
Oh my god!
I started off with Pong, man. I was playing Atari 2600 Pong. Okay, so I started off with blocky, you know, animation. You know what I'm saying? And I did them all, bro. Pitfall and everything like that, bro. I got all the way up to PS5 and God of Wars and you know what I'm saying, everything like that. And it's like it was hard for me to go backwards, man. You know, to play something that I felt like was a little more 8-bit to me. And so I just never got into it. However, I did respect the game. That's what I'm saying. Don't come for me though, because I had Game Informers, okay? And I used to read Game Informers and I read about it, but I just didn't play the game. So I wasn't up on the characters and who was who. But I always respected it because it was a creation game. It was basically like, here's a platform. Use your imagination to play this game however you see fit. And I always respected it for that because they kind of put the story in the gamer's hands. It just wasn't for me. You feel what I'm saying? So
Absolutely.
I just didn't know anything about it.
And I can respect that. My tutelage for Minecraft comes a little earlier in the game because you know, as we know, it's a sandbox-based game that came out in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been around for a little bit. And I put in my years, you know, in 20, I want to say 13 to 15
Okay.
was kind of like my range for the game before I kind of got into more, you know, hands-on, more adventurous other games.
Right.
And it was kind of more like a, you know, get creative with the homies type game. You know what I'm saying? So when we jump in there, you know, we getting our own and interpreting and making our own fun out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
So, but just for everybody who, you know, wants the clear overview of it, Minecraft is a 2011 sandbox game developed and published by Swedish video game developer Mojang Studios. Originally created by Marcus Notch Presson using the Java programming language, the first public alpha build was released May 17th, 2009. You know, so we had, you know, we got a little early samples going on out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then the game was continuously developed from then on, releasing a full released version in November 18th, 2011. Then afterwards, Preston left Mojang and gave Jen Bergenstein control over the development, and in the years since its release, and has been ported to several platforms, including smartphones, tablets, various video game consoles, before being purchased by Microsoft for $2.5 billion.
Dude, I mean,
but back to these characters, dog. You know what I'm saying? Back to these characters. We already talked about the man Jack Black, who played as Steve, you know, the expert crafter. Spent years living in outer overworld, you know. So he's the guy, he's the man, you know what I'm saying? You step into Steve's world and you know, you get creative and try to survive. That's all I used to know, man. That's all I used to know.
And so now just real quick, because I want to make sure people who aren't up on this like I wasn't are familiar with something. Steve, it basically is a character in the game. Like that character that I guess when you first, let's just say I'm booting it up for the first time. The character that I get, his name is Steve.
First time. Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Exactly.
Because when he said Steve, they cheer.
In a sense, the main character.
Okay. All right. Got it.
Yeah. So in a sense, once you boot in for the first time, you know, you drop in on your world. You drop in as Steve.
Okay.
The man with the plan. But you know, for this movie, obviously, for a movie that's based on imagination, you got to build some type of a story. So then we got to talk about my man Jason Momoa, Garrett, the Garbage Man Garrison.
Yes, sir.
Who lives in 1989, the year he was the video game champion.
Yeah, he's like
man's got himself a little stove.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just real quick as I'm looking at this picture on here and what he had on in there, he's like the Cameron, you know what I'm saying, of this generation because he got all his pink on, you know what I'm saying?
Pink is what gave it away.
Pink fur, pink tank top. He is definitely the Cameron of this generation for sure.
Nah, he rode the wave, big dog. Trust me, he's him, as the kids say. He's him.
Oh man. Yeah.
But he ends up being the store owner of because of him being the gaming champion of a popular game from '89.
Right.
But he can't seem to let go of the glory days.
Nope.
Fast forward on to real life. So Garrett kind of runs into reality.
Mm-hmm.
You can't keep staying in that bubble from '89.
Yep.
But you know what I'm saying.
And it was cool how the name of his shop was Game Over World. You know what I mean? And then of course, what I guess the setup, the world in Minecraft is called Overworld. Right? So I was like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
I like that.
Little play nod.
Yeah.
Kind of. Oh, it's an old school gamer, still obsessed with gaming. Running a store called Game Over. Like, nice.
Yeah.
Little nod, you know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
We also got to talk about that boy Sebastian Hansen,
Mm-hmm.
who plays Henry,
Mm-hmm.
Natalie's creative younger brother, as they say.
Yep. He was good. I liked him. I liked his character. I liked, he seemed to kind of own the role. You know what I mean? It didn't seem too big for him. It was just kind of right. Fit a perfect fit for him because he's, of course, in his world, he's he's teased a little bit. You know what I mean? And whatever for his creativity. But in this world, this is exactly where you want to be creative. So that was a nice little role.
Which as you saw, they tried to link that with the with the main characters. This was kind of his background. Now our main protagonist, this is kind of his background too.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was pretty notable.
Absolutely.
Gotta also shout out Emma Myers, Natalie. Henry's older sister, legal guardian. Unfortunately, what happened to their mother, it left Big Sis have to take the reins and grow up a little sooner than she needs to.
Right.
Which unfortunately is something that happens in the real world.
I was just gonna say, yep.
They move over to. It happens. Unfortunate that it does, but that was one of the cases in this storytelling. So they had to move to Idaho. Sorry, they had to move to Idaho. So she could get her, big grown up job, that cheap housing, so that they can, live and be comfortable without their parents, obviously. But her stepping into a grown role, that's what she has to do. I think it was fitting. I think it was that slice of real life still attached to this too, because I think they tried to hint a lot at that. They tried to leave some of them layers in there, like hey. Which is kind of like the gist of what I feel fantasy games are too. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're supposed to be your kind of pivot from the real world. So I kind of like how they still kept those elements in there, because that's some heavy stuff.
It was.
Older sister being the legal guardian and having this kind of factory grown-up job at a potato chip factory.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Trying to keep little brother through high school and, make sure he's getting his schooling in, making friends, going above and beyond to make sure that he feels normal.
Right. With such a heavy thing hanging over their head, with their mother passing. Yeah, right. I agree. I like that it was still grounded in some reality. In the real world, real stuff was going on. You know what I'm saying? And then in the fantasy world, things that you did, basically tied into the real world. You know what I mean? Things that you overcame in this world could definitely help you with, and give you tools in your bag into the real world. I definitely peeped that out, and I liked how they, tried to do that. So yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. And then, I got to round it out with Rachel House, who played the voice of our protagonist.
Yes.
I mean, our antagonist in this film.
Yes.
The Piglin ruler, Malgosha.
Yes.
Malgosha.
I liked her. Like I said, I wasn't familiar with the characters, but I liked her. I liked the way she played her, because she was evil. She was all that, but she was also comical. She had a few funny one-liners in there too. I think she did a great job.
Nice little quips to kind of add layers to it and kind of not keep it so one-dimensional, because again, it's fantasy, it's creativity, it's lucid, so you gotta you don't want to dilute it too much and make it too serious too. So I think it's a nice little balance, a little play here and there, but still keeping it on brand with the seriousness of the moment.
Now I'd be remiss if we moved on before we shout out Danielle Brooks because, of course, last time I saw her was in my boy, what's his name, Peacemakers series, and you know, I see her kind of I kind of see her making some moves. I know she was in Orange Is the New Black, you know, The Color Purple. Of course, you know, she was Miss she was Sophia. You know what I mean? So she's doing her thing, man, and I'm happy that
getting around, dog.
Yeah, I'm happy that she's making these moves and making a name for herself. You know what I'm saying? You know, because for one, forget the skin color. You know what I'm saying? Yes, she's a sister, but then she's also a heavier set sister. You know what I'm saying? And so, of course, you know, Hollywood is usually, oh, you gotta be this skin color and then you have to be this size and gotta like a model and you gotta, you know what I'm saying? And now they're just like, look, man, there's regular people out here who are super talented, you know what I'm saying? And she's a beautiful woman, you know what I mean? But someone may like, well, she's a little heavy, so, you know, we don't want to cast her. You feel what I'm saying? So I just like that this movie does that, because even with Jack Black, who's I think the first thing that the antagonist said, like, why are you so round? You know what I'm saying? In this square cubic world, right? That's not usually the hero. You know what I'm saying? The hero looks more like Jason Momoa, but Jason Momoa was not the hero technically in this one. You feel what I'm saying? You know, so I just like that they make things very grounded and very realistic in the world that I live in. Because in my world, people don't look all to Hollywood standards of what's beautiful. You feel what I'm saying? So I just like that they got regular looking people in this movie. So I had to shout her out.
And then before we pivot over to our actual review too, I do want to shout out Jennifer Coolidge and the role that she played as the vice principal, Marlene.
Yep.
You know, it's just something about that role, man. I just, you know, she feel like she brought it. You know what I'm saying? She had me on the edge of my seat laughing. You know, the quips, the one-liners, going through her divorce, and you know, just moving on and trying to, you know, do her thing in the world of society, being a strong woman, you know, keeping up, being a vice principal, making sure she's taking care of the kids, but trying to take care of herself.
Yep.
And, you know, it was just funny to see, you know.
And I mean, shout out to American Pie, man. I mean, you know, back in American Pie, she was a MILF, man. You know what I'm saying? That was the first time I even heard the term MILF. You feel what I'm saying? So Jennifer Coolidge is always gonna be that. She gonna always be that chick to me.
Not lying.
She gonna always be that chick to me, because, you know, and I know she's getting older now, but still, she was a MILF. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, come on, man. You know, taught me what a MILF was. I was like, oh yeah, I agree. 63 years old, man, still doing her thugism. I ain't mad at you, Jennifer. Do your thing, girl.
And that was 99. You know what I'm saying? There was no need. There was no reason for me. I'm barely 4, 5, 6 years old. I ain't know what that is either. But hey, I found it on TV.
Yep.
Put it on. Watched it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
Hey man. Say man. But shout out Jennifer Coolidge, man.
No doubt.
But I think it's about that time. You know, we here.
Started from the
I
bottom.
know you got some thoughts, brother.
Oh yeah, my thoughts will come after yours though, because like I said, I think it's only fair. Timmy, the producer, we discussed this, that it's only fair that we don't say, oh, well, this is a bad movie, or this is because you really do have to have done some kind of research into the game to respectfully review this movie. And that's why it's perfect for you, because bro, you actually played the game. I have never played this game, and me just trying to give you my opinion, it's a little unfair, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a little biased because I have certain games I played. But what I will say for this, bro, and I'm gonna give it to you, I'm passing you the ball. This movie is reference heavy. It means you absolutely need to know something about Minecraft to fully appreciate what the directors and the actors were trying to bring across. I could see it, bro. And the reason why I say it is because we were in a 10 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. We were in the theater with a bunch of kids, and I'm sitting here like, when and why and how is it this many kids in here? So that let me know that, oh, okay, this is I'm not in the club. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely not in this club.
Yep. And
I need to respect that. And I need to basically watch this movie based on the crowd's reaction because every single time one of those characters came on, they was like, "Oh my God, it's such and such," and they was cheering. "Oh, look at this! It's the Sword of Destiny!" And I'm like, "Yeah, I have no idea what y'all talking about." But I respected the fact that the fact that they reacted the way they did meant that the director did exactly what he was supposed to do. This was not for a casual moviegoer. This was only for the how many ever what do you call it, gamer base people that they have.
For the youngins.
This is it.
For the gamer youngins right here. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. Not just them though. Not just them though. I ain't mean to cut you off, but let me say this. Yes, the youngest, absolutely, bro. But I saw some dudes in there that had to be at least 19, 20, whatever, and they were going crazy too. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm assuming that these are the guys who rocked with it in 2000. What'd you say it was 2011 when they finally?
2011.
They had to have been the guys that rocked with it in 2011, and now they're finally getting that movie that they always wanted. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but
absolutely.
Go ahead, brother.
You're all good, brother. You know, the movie starts out with our faithful companion, Steve. We see that he's always had a yearning for mining. So, you know, when he was young, it wasn't his time. You know, once he got older, it was his time. You know, I liked the whole shake, bake, and rattle. You know what I'm saying? He finally got in. Finally gets to this cave. You know, he's always wanted to mine inside this cave, which is a funny playoff because that's exactly how Steve comes off in the game. Like he was born to mine, destined to mine, and always mine.
Wow.
They set up Steve the character as someone who, kind of like our protagonist, you know, Henry, got picked on a lot, didn't really necessarily enjoy life on the outside. So once he finally gets into this mine and he finally says, "I'm not going to give up on my childhood dream. I'm going to go ahead and go for it." He discovers the Orb of Dominance, you know what I'm saying, and the Earth Crystal. Once you combine them together, which obviously was a nod to, you know, Minecraft Dungeons, which is kind of what feels like that's where they kind of plucked a lot of this from. Was from Minecraft Dungeons.
Okay.
So once you combine the two, they create a portal that transports to Overworld. Once Steve finally gets into Overworld, it's like a reawakening of sorts. You know what I'm saying? He's like, this is pretty cool. Quickly learns how to, you know, what materials he needs to build what. Wood to build a house, bricks, stone, all that. You know, he shows off his houses that he's learned to build, and, you know, basically creates his own world inside of Overworld, his domain, his piece, away from the 9-to-5 grown-up business side of the world that he left behind. So there we meet our antagonist in the nether world, or the nether region, I'll say, Malgosha, the pagan ruler. She basically says, "Hey, I need that orb. I need that orb so I can control the overworld." Okay. What do you need it for? X, Y, this, that, and the third. If you don't know, the netherworld is opposed of overworld because a lot of the darkness in there, they thrive, they survive off that. As you saw in the movie, when some of the piglins went into overworld while it was sunny, bright, open, they started zombifying. So they kind of have to live in the netherworld to survive. So Malgosha was like, "I want to make that every day then. Okay, y'all should not get peace, love, and happiness on the upstairs while we in downstairs suffering, and I should already be the ruler of this anyway." So she tasks Steven, who came down there, you know, on accident, obviously trying to discover and protect his world from the piglins' rule and attack. He gets captured. He tames his dog Dennis and sends Dennis away with the cube. Dennis comes back into the real world in reality, where we meet our boy, the garbage man, in his studio. Still reliving the glory days, still kind of doing his thing. But that's when reality hits, right? So we pivot from Steve's old house, which is where Dennis left the orb under his bed. We pivot to Garrett, the garbage man, finding out that, hey, you're a little bit behind on these bills, sir. So he's gonna be evicted. What do you do when you need to be evicted? Figure out how to stop it. Figuring out how to stop it is figuring out how to get some quick money, some quick cash. So, premise of the story takes place, I believe they said Chugless, Idaho. Yeah, Chugless, Idaho, I believe.
Chugless. Which I'm gonna say something real quick because I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I was a little confused about the time period because at first, from the whole thing with the garbage man, he still dressed like he was in the 80s. And everything like that, but also the people around the town still look like they was in the 80s. Man, I was trying to figure out like, okay, so is this a 80s setting or something or whatever? Until Henry pulled out a smartphone. When he pulled out the smartphone, I was like, oh, okay, well this is current. But up until then, bro, I don't know what town this is, but they are stuck back in a different time, bro, because the whole thing from the cars they drive, everything, bro, just looked like 80s. I think he had a Trans Am or something. like yo.
That's a good point, brother. That's how it felt too. It kind of felt like we were still kind of in the 80s per se, kind of sort of, and that's only because at first you look at it from his perspective of Garrett still kind of being trapped there, right? Mm-hmm. But then it reached out to everywhere around him, so it felt like modern times, but y'all still have like a heavy 80s influence going around the town.
Yeah.
So at this point, the garbage man heads to a storage auction to try to see if he can, win. If y'all have not seen Storage Wars, anything like that, you bid on a storage unit that people have late payments on. They're seized, and whatever's in there is yours. A lot of people do this as a side hustle to kind of flip things. If you're into the flipping industry, obviously you take a product that you might have got for XY dollar and then you flip it for Z and A times more than what you paid for it, and then there's the profit in between, and y'all know that. Y'all don't need me to explain it to you. But
I'm sorry, man, because I've heard of Storage Wars, but I haven't really looked into it. But it's funny when you say it, and watching what he was doing. Of course, I know why he was trying to do it. But what the man said after, the guy who was trying to sell it, like, you don't respect the storage community and so forth and so on. And then I'm just like, wow, though, it's crazy. As you were just breaking that down, I'm like, yeah, I get it. And then at the same time, like you're you are basically winning and whatever off of somebody else's tragedies. You know what I'm saying? Like they weren't able to afford it, and so now you get to get all this stuff, and who knows what's in there that was probably passed down from generation to generation or something, right?
Literal generations and generations. They literally have pricers and auctioneers. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, watching Storage Wars, I learned a lot, bro. But it's crazy because they'll have something. Oh, this was from the 40s. You could price this today at $100, or it might be a very completely rare item, a lucky build that elevates that storage unit from like the 900 that you paid for it to 15 grand.
Wow.
Just from off of a lucky item.
Awesome.
And it's really a community. So like that hassling, that's real. Like,
yeah, that
whole him not respecting the storage community is a real thing, brother.
Wow. I'm sure that hit home for people who really are into that. But I will say though, he went in there going for that Atari, of course, which, back to what I was saying, that's what I started off on. So I understood.
Shout out to the Cosmos.
Dude, I understood.
Sorry, Cosmos.
When the way he felt about that, I understood that because that's a classic game system, dude. So right there, I was like, that makes sense to me. You know what I'm saying? That would make sense for somebody to act that way about a old system like that. That, worth a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely. I still remember Space Invaders, and I think it was Roadrunner on there.
All that stuff. Exactly. Yeah.
Man,
But he picked the right one, didn't he?
Asteroid was on there. He picked the right one. It just when he opened that box, I don't, you know, wasn't nothing in that box but the orb of dominance and the Earth crystal, right? So now Garrett, the garbage man, is in possession of it. Obviously, he didn't get what he looking for, so he's upset, rightfully so. He thinking, I'm finna cash out on this Atari, and hopefully it'll be enough to get me out of eviction status. But he just found a bunch of knickknacks, old stuff, and obviously, like I said, the orb of dominance.
You see what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? You hear what he just said? You're going to hear a lot of that stuff in this movie. So make sure what I'm saying is either get up on your game with the Minecraft, or ask your kid what the H is he talking about. Because yes, now I got to say two things real quick, bro. One, when you saw that orb, right? Which technically orbs usually look rounded, but whatever. When you saw that orb,
which I loved. I love that they did that. It was just like it's actually cube shaped.
It's actually cube shaped, but it's an orb, right? So,
but it's an orb.
It's an orb. Now, for all of my Marvel fans out there, please tell me you don't think of the Tesseract when you see the so-called orb. It's blue. Oh, it's cubed.
The space stuff.
Come on, bro. That's the Tesseract, man. The Tesseract. I'm sorry. That's the Tesseract, bro. I'm like, look at they got the Tesseract up in here. They crossing worlds, man. They crossing worlds. And speaking of crossing,
but here's the thing too, Price, because it's crazy that you say that. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to give you special powers.
Yep.
And technically speaking, the orb of dominance gives you a certain ability and a special skill set and powers and stuff, kind of like the Tesseract. Since it's as an Infinity Stone.
Yep. Exactly. So I got those vibes and I was like, okay, that's cool. That's familiar to me. But the other thing when I realize is, and I don't want to say this is reskinned. This is a reskinned version, but the whole something sucks you into this other world, a game world. You know what I'm saying? A game world. That's Jumanji to me. That's Jumanji. So.
Oh, and not only Jumanji. I mean, look at the Super Mario Brothers movie.
True.
How that started.
True.
Them getting sucked in through the but. Yep. Definitely Jumanji.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. And has Jack Black in it. So I'm like, oh no. But yeah, anyway.
I don't know. It sounds like he likes that storyline for himself. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Sound like he does.
But back to where we are in the film at this point. We're being introduced to our main protagonists, Henry and Natalie, who've moved to Chugless, if I'm saying it right, I hope I'm saying it right. Okay. But Chugless, after their mother's passing and stuff, moving into what they feel is a cheap home that can get them going, and he can provide and do stuff like that. But when we're introduced to them, we're introduced to Dawn, who's their real estate agent, who also owns a petting zoo with an alpaca and all types of pets going on at the same time.
That alpaca bite your pretty face off too if you don't feed it that carrot or whatever she gave her.
You better feed that. You better feed it the carrot, because if you don't, what I'm saying, bad things will happen. Bad things will happen. Then we pivot, of course, from here to Natalie just trying to make sure that Henry has a good first day of school. Like I said, I think, what was it? Her mom's famous tater cake,
tater pizza. It was a tater tot with bacon
pizza.
Yeah, with bacon in it. Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. Let me tell you something, man. When it come to munchies, man, I'm looking at it like, you know what, bro? That's not a bad idea.
You said that was it, huh?
Man, a tater tot and bacon pizza. Come on, man. It looks so good. Look, when she pulled it out the oven the first time, it was tater tops falling off. And I was like, oh, don't spill the taters, shout it, don't do it.
Yeah, you're missing them taters, man. You're messing up. Messing up. So then after that ensues, Henry goes off to school. He has this little issue with, obviously getting hassled because he's a smart guy. He's an intellectual guy. So, he tries to create this makeshift jetpack. They snip some of the cores to try to, mess with him and stuff like that. So lights it. It's working just fine, but it doesn't have the directional control that it should. It ends up ironically flying right into the potato chip factory mascot that ends up falling down, and then he gets into trouble, but he doesn't want his sister to know it was him. So Henry, obviously before he went to school, is when he gets in touch with Garrett, who offers to be his mentor because obviously he's hurting for money. So he's just trying to do anything he can to get some money at this point. So with the flyer, Henry calls Garrett and says, "Hey, do you mind being my uncle? Cause he says, look, I don't do that anymore. But he says, I can pay you." Comes up, scoops him up. They go through their little dynamic where it takes them back to the game shop, and then they see the orb for the first time. Once they see the orb for the first time, obviously Dennis is lurking because Dennis is supposed to be the protector of the orb, but doesn't fully get involved just yet. Henry finally puts the two together. It leads them to the cave where Steve started his mining journey to begin with. And obviously, as a concerned guardian, Natalie, "Hey, what's going on? I'm trying to reach you, can't find you, this, that, and the third." Dawn's trying to be there for her because, again, with the parents passing, it seemed like, Dawn took a liking and obviously cares for because of their situation. So they all get involved. They finally meet back up. But that cube come calling. That cube came calling, brother. So they get sucked into the world. They're in overworld now. Don't know what's going on. Don't know a lick of nothing. But true to the game, daytime is so much shorter. And it seems like it's always got to be nighttime. So in nighttime, creepers, zombies, a lot of things like to come out at night. They like to act bad, you know what I'm saying? So they get their first little thrill of the fight. You got the skeletons letting the arrows fly. You got werewolves in their hunting mode, all types of monsters going on, this, that, and the third. This is where Henry learns how to build and learns, a little bit about what's going on here. So he then builds them a little fortress. At that point, they figure out a little bit of safety, but they're all split up. Garrett tries to be the hero and saves the day. That ends up breaking the earth crystal, which is the shell for the orb. So now the portal shuts down after that. Now it becomes, how do we get this going? Right? So they survive the night, and at this point, I believe this is where Steven comes in after he's made a deal to get out of the dungeon to come find it. He betrays them. We're at a point now where they're trying to load up. They're trying to get what they need so that they can go get the earth crystal from
the wooden people or something.
Like a woodland mansion or something like that.
Yep.
So we're at this point where we're trying to load up for that. Everybody kind of has a good breakthrough of what's going on. On the side, obviously, Garrett tries to get what he came here for because he remembers Steve mentioning diamonds. So they take a side pivot. To this hall where Steve kind of has like his inventory and stuff like that. They get inside. They have a interaction with Enderman. They have an interaction with more creepers and stuff like that. But to get everything that they need, obviously they have a little bit of descent in between. But Garrett gets what he asked for. They use mine carts, which is obviously another form. Again, like I said, a lot of this movie is taken from dungeons.
Gotcha.
So
I was gonna say there's one part where I saw where they kind of flipped it and they had the garbage man down in a hole and he's trying to dig his way through and everything like that, and I was looking like, wow, this looks like the game to me. You know what I'm saying? Like the way they shot it, he looked like a game character. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody was controlling him and making him dig and so forth and so on. So I thought that was really cool for them to flash that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, that looks like it. I've seen people playing it, and I'm like, okay, that definitely looks like it. You know what I'm saying? So I just,
Exactly.
I definitely thought that was good, and the way that some of the other things they implemented, which case, like I said, you've named off some stuff already. You know, zombies, the piglins, the orb of dominance, the this, the that, right? And like I said, I respected the fact that it was so much stuff in there. I felt bad. Like I felt like, man, I'm the one who's tripping. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't belong here, because obviously everybody else in this movie theater, they know exactly what's going on. They could, every single time something popped up, bro, they named it off and they clapped. And it was like, then they cheered, and they was like, "Oh my God, it's the sun such," and you can almost hear the tears falling down people's eyes. You know, coming down their face, like, "Godly," you know, because you could tell how happy they were to see this projected onto the big screen. You know, a game that they truly love, obviously, right?
Exactly. And experiences that they're going through as they play the game, you know what I'm saying? And stuff that you have to do in the games, you know, like you said, seeing that play out on a bigger screen.
And
So,
do you think that because they went that way, this was more like, well, you know, they're kind of cheating because they know that no matter what, if they just throw all this stuff on there, you know what I'm saying, that'll kind of keep people distracted from the true story, or you know what I'm saying, or what's really going on, because that was kind of one of the things that I thought about. Like, okay, I see where we're going.
another way to keep them engaged, kind of, I feel like, you know, if you know, certain action movies, you know, when they kind of cue the Michael Bay-esque explosions, you know, I think it's just another way to kind of keep people engaged when they're watching the film. You know, and then like you said, it being reference heavy, so I think they picked their spots where they knew it was gonna be we're gonna throw in the references, you know what I'm saying, like the golems, the iron golems and stuff, like it just, they knew exactly, like the ender pearl, and you know, okay, we know our spots that we're gonna pick and we're gonna emphasize on, that they're gonna hit for the core that know exactly what's going on.
Right. Okay, because because like I said, that was my that was my thoughts while I was watching it. Like, man, I really felt like I didn't do myself a service by playing the game first and really getting into it. Now, even if I had tried to start the game a week before we watched the movie, there's no way I would have gotten that deep into it to know everything that I would have seen on that screen. But I do feel like at least the enemies or whatever that was, you know, that's in the game, obviously were in this movie. And I would have definitely probably appreciated it more. Any little, for example, when they was in the woodland thing and the little pig walked by and he had the crown on, it was like, oh my God, it's the pig king or something, whatever they called him, and they was just going crazy. And I'm like, look at that little wink that they gave, and he was just in for a second, and people went crazy. And so I was like, oh my God, yeah, this is definitely one of those ones where I have to watch it. Now, to their credit, here's what I'm going to say: I have watched other video game movies, and they haven't been as reference heavy as Minecraft. Minecraft to me so far is one of the most reference heavy video game movie adaptations I have seen, man, because they was just, bro, after almost like every scene they were just dumping them, you know. And I was like, man, maybe I wish I would have gotten this game a little bit, because I would have probably enjoyed the movie even more. Even though I'm not saying whether it was good or bad, I'm just saying that I felt like I didn't do my homework. You know what I mean? That's how I felt, you know, like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
So yeah,
for a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, like most stuff, I mean, it's the same story in the sense of, you know, there's heroes, there's villains there, you know, and then we want to try to have a happy ending, especially with a game like that looks like it's definitely geared more toward kids and their enjoyment and so forth and so on. You know what I'm saying? However, you know, there's some things left, you know, that we won't say, because if you stay for the end credits and so forth and so on, I definitely believe that what they showed is for those hardcore Minecraft gamers, because as soon as they showed it, they was like, oh my God, it's such. Like, oh, okay, great. Now, so to me, that means part 2 will be in development, especially if already a movie that was budgeted at $150 million has already made $157 million, and the weekend is not even
Already.
over yet. So,
mind you, already we just got here. You know what I'm saying? We just got here.
yeah, no,
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you for sure. We're definitely getting a part 2 based off of that end credit scene. You know, if you know, you know, people.
Yeah. And so yeah, no, I like I said, man, going into it, I had no idea what was what and who was who. And I would have to say, for one, I'm a Jack Black fan. So I mean, I'm coming off of School of Rocks and all this stuff here. I'm seeing the same Jack Black. So if you enjoyed School of Rock and you like those Jack Black antics, that's what you're going to get in here for absolutely sure. He is definitely, he's definitely Jack Blacking, doing what he does. I was telling Timmy, I think he is the modern day Chris Farley, mixed with a little bit of John Belushi from SNL, both of them from SNL. And he does a lot of physical comedy. It doesn't matter his size, that man moves around, he can sing, you know what I'm saying? So he's a bad boy, man. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves for sure, but he is definitely a bad boy. Every time I watch him on a movie, I'm entertained by him, you know what I'm saying? So if you are a Jack Black fan, you will get Jack Black in here for sure. Jason Momoa, I have to shout him out because this is a guy who was Aquaman, and he's supposed to be big sexy and all this stuff here, and he doesn't mind taking all that off and just being silly, the same way he was doing in Fast X, you know what I'm saying? He looked like he was having fun. So I like that he can step out of that so-called sex symbol role sometimes and just have fun with a movie. You know what I mean? And I think he helps to make it fun. Now, I'm pretty sure, because from what we've heard, there's certain people have certain ideas about this movie. But again, if you have not played Minecraft, keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not played Minecraft, you have to at least play it before you can really judge this movie. Because if you're judging it based off of just an actual casual movie, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get the joke. Everybody else in the theater, they're going to get the joke, and you're going to be the only one like, oh man, I don't really like this. But the movie isn't the problem. You're the problem. You know what I'm saying? Because you didn't do your homework. So you have to do your homework before. So parents, if you're going to take your kids to see it, let them have it. Let them have it. Don't try to sit and understand it unless you're really going to take the time to research this movie, research the game, and find out what it's about. Otherwise, I don't think that your opinion would matter in this sense. Talk to the people who actually play the game, and they'll tell you whether this movie was really good or not.
There you go. That sounds like a beautiful piece. To kind of get us into our ratings for this one, man. Because at the end of the day, this is one of those ones, as a part of my review and as a part of my rating, that I'm gonna literally be as honest with y'all as possible. Yes, although I am a Minecraft enthusiast, I'll say, I've dibbled and dabbled into it. The target audience was not someone like me who has played the game. You know what I'm saying? It is for more of the diehards who will get the references, but in all intents and purposes, this is a children's movie. I think it's safe for me to say that. So, factoring that into my review doesn't change that it was still written a great story. It was still had me on the edge a little bit in certain points, had me laughing at certain points. I still caught a lot of the main line of what was going on in the film. So for me, in my review, I'm gonna leave it at a 7.
Okay. Not a 7.5, not a 7. Flat 7. Okay.
Just flat 7. Flat 7 again, and that's paying respect to the animation of it, bringing what they could to life, and making it pop on the screen as they could, and for the story that they told. But more or less, I can't give it any higher because I'm not per se the target audience. This is for the kids. The kids will have it. Kids, this is theirs. They're the reason why it has 157 plus million. You know what I'm saying? It's still only opening weekend.
Yes. Okay. That's fair. I think that's absolutely fair. You know what I mean? And I definitely get exactly what you're saying. And this is coming from somebody who actually played the game. I never played the game. So for you to give it a 7, I'm assuming you're basing that off of your experience of it, but also as your duty as a critic of movies, to be honest about it.
Absolutely.
Okay, so because I was curious, I'm glad you went first because I was curious to see what you're going to say, being that you've actually played the game. I'm sitting in there, and of course, man, listen, like I said, went in there surprised by the kids. These kids were loud. These kids. Now, just understand, if you go into the movie theater and there's kids in there watching this one, they're going to be talking. They're kids, you know what I mean? They're going to be talking, playing, doing whatever. When it first starts off, you're going to have to
shush them.
Yeah, you're going to have to shush them. Exactly. You're going to have to shush them.
I heard a lot of shushing.
And they still may not shush, okay? Especially because when we were sitting, there were parents, and they were sitting in our seats, so they had to move up out of the way, and so they were gone. So now there's no parent there to shush their kids, which, like, you know, I'm gonna pull my belt off in a minute. But no, so we ended up having to move down the road a little bit. Anyway, okay, this is a little tricky for me. If I was basing it off of just a movie and a casual movie that had nothing to do with Minecraft and so forth and so on, I would probably score it a little lower, just because of not everything landing, not every joke landing where I thought it probably should have, which borderline made it a little silly, right? Or anything like that. But I'm a person who loved Scott Pilgrim. You know what I'm saying? You know, I love Scott Pilgrim. Somebody else might see Scott Pilgrim and be like, man, this is corny. This is cartoonish. But I love that about it. You know what I'm saying? I absolutely loved it about it. I love the some of the dry humor and other things that they had going on. I look at this kind of the same way. I'm not a Minecraft, enthusiast, you know what I'm saying, at all. But I respect video games. I also can definitely respect video game adaptations that stick strictly to the source material and gives source material, is due justice. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like for that right there, I have to score it a little higher, just because you know what? It got to a point where I'm not even I'm watching the movie, but I'm so tuned into the reaction of people every time a character came on. Because when it started happening early in the movie, I was like, okay, it's gonna be one of those. Almost every character that came on, they either clapped or was like woohoo and all this other stuff here, or they said the name of that character. They said they said some of the movie lines, and I'm sitting there looking at these kids like, did y'all watch this already? So I'm like, this got to be in the game, because they're quoting stuff that Steve is saying, and the movie just came out. So I'm already like, there's no way he learned that quick. This must be some stuff from the game. And so I can respect a director who says, look, I'm not worried about you casual goers. This movie is not for you. I'm only focused on the gamer base for this movie. And he did exactly that. If that was his mission, and if that's what he was going for, he did exactly that. So I have to give it up to him for successfully being able to do that, because the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. You know what I'm saying? People that came out to see this movie are the people who play this game. And they already got 157 in the first weekend. He's already off to a great start. Like I said, some of the things didn't hit for me. Some of it was a little too silly. Some of it was a little too corny. Or it might have been a joke or two that was, a little forced or whatever. But besides that, when I put my mindset on like, oh, this is Jumanji, this is whatever, I'm like, okay, cool. Let me ride it out. I think the animation was great. As far as having them interact with, because we've come a long way from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, man, and watching human beings trying to interact with animation. They don't always look the characters in their eyes. They don't, you know what I'm saying? They swing and things just be a little bit off or whatever.
Yeah,
I didn't see that in here. They actually looked like they was interacting with characters that weren't actually on screen. You know what I'm saying? This is green screen and all the stuff here. And to see how they interacted with it, I was pretty impressed, because it looked and made me feel like they were really interacting with these characters. So I definitely have to give it up to the actors as well, who have to sit there and pretend that this thing is in front of you, and it's really not. So to see them do that, I was like, not bad. So what I'll say is that if you're not sitting here just worried about something making complete sense and everything, whatever, you just want to take your kid to go watch a movie, or you just want to be in a theater, you ain't got kids, you just want to be in a theater and watch people, enjoy like you said, a movie that is probably more geared toward the kids, and you just want some fun fantasy feeling, this is the movie for you to go see. I mean, it will give you that for sure. It will definitely give you that feeling. It'll give you the feeling of triumph. You know what I'm saying? It'll make you think for a second, like, okay, so we're in this world here, but some of the things that they're learning absolutely ties into the real world. And when you go back to the real world, now you're a lot more confident, and you know everything like this because you conquered Minecraft, the Minecraft world. You know what I'm saying? You beat the evil witch piglin. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. So for that, I say all that to say that I will give this one an 8 because of the actors pulling off what is not easy to act with something that's not actually there in your face, and to make it believable, and they did. You know what I'm saying? Of course, and like I said, I think Jack Black didn't miss, man. Every single time he was on that screen, that boy did not miss, man. He kept me into the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, that boy good.
Yeah,
that boy's good.
The boy's real good. The garbage man, you know, Jason Momoa's character, I could have kept him or left him. You know what I'm saying? He was such a tool, bro. He was such a jerk that you almost didn't like him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he almost made you really not like him. He has an arc. He has a redemption arc, but you definitely almost did not like him in that movie. You know what I'm saying? So that's what kind of had me like, I don't know. But anyway. So for me, you know, that was mine, and it looks like that brings us up to an average of 7.5, which I think is fair.
Which is fair. Not only fair, but it's still good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we're not telling you guys per se, obviously, and you heard Price's in-depth review. It's solely based on the film itself, gauge reaction from the audience, people enjoying what they see on that screen. And so, hey, hats off to you. You know, I think Jared Hess did a great job of bringing fantasy to life and letting us live in the fantasy.
Absolutely. Great job, brother. Great job.
Great casting from Jack Black on. Great casting. Mm-hmm. Great presentation of the film. And obviously, y'all broke even. So,
yep.
Sky's the limit. And I can't wait for the second one because of you know who.
Right.
So,
exactly.
It was about that time to get into that QOTD. And it reads, if you look the right way, you can see that the whole world is a garden.
Absolutely. In Overworld, by the way. See,
because it was nothing but a beautiful garden in Overworld. I'm just saying. You saw the trees, the bees, the leaves, and the trees, brother.
I saw all those blocky trees and blocky leaves and blockies. Yeah, that's everything.
And a block.
Good grief.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, no, that was good stuff. Yeah.
Since you're here, you might as well go ahead and hit him with that mantra, then, big dog.
You know it. Just like that movie, said, because it wasn't a bunch of them. It only took 5 of them, so it lets you know, ties right into our mantra that it's not the quantity of people, it's the quality. Guys, y'all know how we do this, man. Please, like. And subscribe. And don't forget to turn on your notifications.
Turn that bell on.
Bing. Guys, thank y'all so much. X, great job. Appreciate you, man. Being our authority on Minecraft, because the rest of us, we don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm talking about?
Look, we needed to craft up a review. You know, I put some iron down. I put some wood down and made myself a little microphone so I can help y'all out.
That is definitely Minecraft references. You see what I'm talking about, y'all? That's definitely Minecraft references, because everything he just said absolutely makes sense in that world. That's for real. But no doubt, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in again. Please join us as we have Sinners coming up. You know, Michael B. Jordan is back. And he's back, you know what I'm saying?
Coogler.
Come on, man. I was gonna say he's back with his director, Ryan Coogler. Y'all know how they do, man. You know what I'm saying? Every time them boys together, it's nothing but magic, baby. We talking about Black Panther, you know what I'm saying? Creed, you know what I'm talking about? So you know what it is, man. Get ready for a great one. Cinema at its best. You feel me? So make sure y'all join us, man, next time, because that's definitely what we will be reviewing. But until then, please, y'all, just take care of yourselves. You know what I'm saying? Take care of your fam, man. And just know that here at the Hangout, we love you. We'll see you guys next time.
Love on each other. Peace.
Peace.
And watch out for the Enderman.